as Nirmala Sitharaman now goes through the drill of trying to, all the formalities, present the budget to the president and the cabinet and table it, what are you hearing and seeing about the management of the kind of political optics of the budget? Because, of course, it comes at a time when you are seeing farmers protesting. There is a sense of the government being on somewhat of a back foot. So all those considerations likely to weigh on Nirmala Sitharaman as she presents the budget?
100%. You couldn't have put it more correctly. The fact that not only will agriculture be the focus, job creation, most importantly, I think the focus will be on the finance, the 14th Finance Commission's report, which is going to be tabled along with the budget. They had kept it at 42% in their interim report. It's likely to keep that same 42% for devolution of states. Those states have been demanding much higher, at least up to 50%. So that's going to be a cause of concern. The fiscal deficit, as you're well aware, they are targeted at 3.5. That's not going to be met. Whether it's going to be 7 or 7.5 or within that range, that's something that everybody will be watching very clearly, because that's going to show the fiscal policy, the fiscal strength of the government, what its determination is, where it wants to, what it's in this year because of the pandemic, and it's a once in a lifetime, of course, that any event like this takes place. But the fact that where does she want to bring down the fiscal deficit in terms of how they look at terms of economic growth? Because if you're depending on hoping to get 11%, that is now the economy has already contracted 0.7%, and if you have to come to GDP 2 to 3% means you have to have at least 10% growth. So these are some of the important factors. Politically, of course, as you're well aware, there is a great amount of concern. They have the numbers in the House, but they understand, as you rightly said, they are on the back foot. They are defensive about various policy measures that they've taken, which haven't gone down well at the grassroots level.
Right. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how Nirmala Sitharaman manages to balance all those different concerns. Sunil, thanks very much indeed. We'll keep coming back to you as we keep an eye on that live shot that we're getting from the Finance Ministry at North Block, where Nirmala Sitharaman expected to come out any minute. Meanwhile, let me go across to Jayant Krishna, who's Group CEO of the UK India Business Council, UKIBC. Good morning to you, Jayant Krishna. Great to have you. As always, you have been wearing many hats. You've headed up the government skill mission. Before that, you've done stints at corporate India with the Tatas, and now with UKIBC. Jayant Krishna, let me just ask you more specifically, because I believe one of the recommendations of the UK India Business Council expectations from the budget was to get rid of the retroactive tax. This has been the case now for some time, but the government quite hasn't done that. How hopeful are you of measures like the scrapping of the retroactive tax, given that the government is continuing to challenge the arbitration proceedings? But before I get you to answer that, Jayant Krishna, just to flag off to our viewers that Nirmala Sitharaman is out on the steps of the ministry, the finance ministry, along with her Anurag Thakur, of course, Minister of State for Finance, along with the team of all of her officials, are there front and center. The camera is zooming in. As always, she is holding what is now the shift in the government's, the presentation of the budget. It now comes in a bahi khata, as we've seen for some time, the traditional ledger as opposed to the briefcase. So that is what she's posing with. It'll be interesting to also see whether she's going to read out the speech in a printed form, or will it be in some kind of tablet form? Because remember, the economic survey also this time was a non-paper version, and the budget is also likely to be presented in a non-paper e-version. She might, however, read out from a printed text. That's something we'll have to wait and see. But that certainly does seem a slimmer bahi khata, so perhaps giving us a sense of the new digital format of the budget in the time of a pandemic.